A testamentary trust is an often discussed but rarely understood way in which you could inherit assets after someone passes away. They can be really useful, particularly their tax and asset protection benefits. However, the opposite also applies. Penalties or the loss of these benefits can result if established or operated incorrectly. Hi, I'm Patrick Houlohan, Wills and Estates lawyer here at Turnbull Hill Lawyers. A testamentary trust is a trust provided for in a person's will. The trust commences upon death, and certain assets can be held within the trust for a certain beneficiary or group of beneficiaries. If you need a recap of the basic operations of a trust, please check out our previous blog articles. Now, it's important to note that a will does not necessarily provide for the creation of a testamentary trust for a beneficiary. Whether you can or can't inherit assets in this way depends on what will your loved one put in place. The focus we're going to be talking about here is tax benefits, which are threefold. We're going to talk about income distributions to minors, taxation on undistributed income, and capital gains tax discounts. Now, I always prefer to show the benefits of a trust through an example. So let's consider George, whose father has unfortunately just passed away. His father, however, has left George $1 million through a testamentary trust, which George controls. Through this trust, George can benefit himself, his wife Jane, or their children Joey and Lily. George and Jane both work, so George decides to distribute some of the trust's income, $15,000 each, to Joey and Lily. This money can be used for school fees, it can be used for sporting costs, the kids' savings, or even as pocket money. The ATO will then assist the kids on this income. However, because they have no other assessable income, and the income is within the limit of the tax-free threshold, it's very likely that no tax is going to apply. This is because income from a testamentary trust is exempt from certain rules regarding children receiving income. Suppose instead George was to distribute this income to himself or to Jane. In that case, they're going to need to pay extra tax on this income because they already earn an income. Therefore, by distributing income to the kids instead, the family has more money, potentially tens of thousands of dollars, for themselves and their expenses at the end of the day. Alternatively, let's consider where George decides instead that some of the income of the trust that has been earned in that year shouldn't be distributed to anyone, and it instead should remain within the trust. Because the testamentary trust can access the tax-free threshold itself, George can leave a significant amount of income undistributed without tax consequences. Finally, a testamentary trust is eligible for the 50% capital gains tax discount for selling assets. Now, this is a perk that other trusts aren't necessarily eligible for, and neither are companies. All these benefits, however, bring complexity and risks as well. It's crucial to seek advice from an expert on whether a testamentary trust is appropriate for you and for your beneficiaries, to assist in drafting your will, and for any beneficiary to also have a knowledgeable legal advisor in their corner to help them avoid the expensive pitfalls and to fully utilise all those fantastic benefits. Contact Turnbull Hill Lawyers today for all your wills and estates needs.